Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jared, the folks are here. Hi, Christine. Hi, Peggy. Thanks, everybody else. Nice to see you all. My name's Hank Stewart. I'm a brand strategist here with Rethink Travel Marketing, and it is my distinct honor to end day two of the Rethink Travel Marketing Virtual Travel Trade Show with a cocktail, the way every day should end, if you ask me. And I hope everyone's had a good day, and I hope you're ready for a cocktail, and I hope you're ready for a really good cocktail because we've got a master mixologist here ready to help you make them. He's going to show you step by step. Play along if you got the ingredients. If you go to the chat, you can see the ingredients for the two cocktails that Jared's going to make. So without further ado, I'd like to meet Jared Sasso. He is the Director of Education. Hey, Jared. For the Hacienda La Caravero, which is located in Ica, Peru. And it is the oldest continually operating distillery in the Americas. So when was that distillery founded? How old do you have to be the oldest? Jared's going to tell you, but before he does, I'd like you to go into the chat and venture a guess. Just put in a year. Put in what year do you think Hacienda La Caravero opened up and that it's still operating today. I think I'm babbling on long enough. The way this is going to work is I'm going to disappear. Jared's going to tell you all about Pisco and help guide you through some mixology. And then I'll come back about 20 minutes from now and be happy to forward any questions you have for Jared to him. So go into the questions box, type in your questions, and about 15, 20 minutes from now, we're going to come back and I'll hit Jared with them. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Jared Sasso.
Well, Hank, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I know it's been a long day. I have the honor of at least getting to drink with some of you guys. And if you weren't able to grab yourself a bottle of Pisco, you can grab yourself anything. It's been a long day. Let's have some drinks together. I'm going to show you how to make an incredible Pisco sour. I'm also going to show you how to make a drink called the Chilcano. And I'll get into what those drinks were and the history of them in a little bit as well, so you understand what these drinks are and how to mix with Pisco. But I am just really excited to be here. I thank you, Rethink Travel and Green Team Global, for having me. It's always fun working with you guys. So we're just gonna get to it. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the oldest active distillery in the Americas, Hacienda La Caravero, what it is as a facility and how you can visit there and stay there. It is a beautiful place. It is one of the most majestic places I've ever been. And of course, I do work for the company. However, when you go there, you will be saying the same thing. So Hacienda La Caravero is a 24-room boutique hotel that was a private residence that is also a fully functioning distillery. The Hacienda itself was built about 10, 11 years ago by a private family that still owns the company on the grounds of the oldest active distillery in the Americas, which again was Hacienda La Caravero. And hopefully we'll see if one of you guys can guess when that was established. It was by a family called the Caravero family, and we still use the old wine presses. We still use the old lagars, the gravity fed process, and we still use the old stills. So Hank, if I can get you to just show a couple of pictures before we start diving into what Pisco is, so you can see this beautiful place, and you could really just get an understanding of what I am talking about. So what we have here, this is the Hacienda. This is what was a private residence and is now this beautiful, beautiful hotel that you could stay in. We have bungalows. There's a beautiful pool there. It's a place that you can book with us. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we'll go to the next slide, so just so we can kind of keep moving along over here. So you see, those are our bungalows. They are absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, it's very boutique, but you get an experience of hospitality there, and you get to sit by that gorgeous pool all day long while drinking our amazing Piscos and drinking. Normally, you'll be drinking Chilcanos by the pool. There's 10, 20 different Chilcanos they make. These are our beautiful fermentation tanks. This is where we store the wine to make the pisco. We'll get into that in a little bit. Next slide. These are our workhorses. These are our 4 German copper pot stills that we distill our pisco in. These are new. These were brought in about 10 years ago, and this is part of our techno distillery, and then we're going to go into the artisanal part of the distillery. So here you go. These are the old ancient stills from ... We'll let you guys guess it. You can see they are fueled by good old-fashioned fire and wood. These are ancient stills. They give the pisco an incredible taste and an incredible aroma. And you can get a beautiful picture on your left over there. That is the old mixing with the new. We call it techno artisanal. You see that is the old wine press. There are old fermentation tanks over there on the right side of the left side picture. You can see the new facilities that have those German copper pot stills and those fermentation tanks. And the picture on the right is the old wine press from ... I'll let you guess. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what that facility looks like. Let me know if you guys will excuse me, we'll get you some information on how you can get down there if you're ever traveling to Peru. Peru is not just Machu Picchu. It's not just going to Lima and eating food. There is a wonderful world down there where they are distilling this old ancient spirit. The Pisco Trail is similar to what you would see in Sonoma and Napa Valley in the 1930s. And it's also like a Nascent Silverado Trail. It's just up and coming. You're seeing all these producers start to come up, and you're seeing all these old distilleries and all these old ways that these people are making Pisco, and it's pretty awesome. So now let's jump into it. What is Pisco? Pisco is a Peruvian spirit that is distilled from grapes. We actually distill Pisco from wine, to be a little bit more technical, which is one of the most fascinating things for me as a wine person. Pisco is distilled from the fermented grape juice that makes the wine. So our distillery actually is a fully functioning winery, but we don't bottle any wine at all. It all gets distilled out into Pisco. It is an incredible process. And what separates us from a lot of other spirits that are distilled from grapes like a grappa, the Italians make the wine, then they take the pomace, which is the skins, which is the seeds, and they throw some water and some yeast in that, and then they distill that out, and then they create their grappa. In Cognac, they distill the wine, but they distill it twice and barrel age it. In Peru, we distill Pisco. We distill it through wine. We remove the stems and seeds and all that stuff. There's no aging. There's no water that you can add to it. And it has a denomination of origin. That means it can only be distilled in 5 regions, 5 coastal valley regions. And we can only use 8 specific grapes. There are 4 non-aromatic and 4 aromatic grapes. There are 3 styles of Pisco that you can create in those valleys with the 8 grapes. There are puros, and as you can see here, we have 2 puros. We have all 8 grapes in Peru, but here in the States, we have 2 puros. A puro is a Pisco that is distilled from 1 grape. There's an Acholado Pisco. An Acholado Pisco is a Pisco that is distilled from 2 or more grapes. Puros and Acholados are distilled with fully fermented wine. Now, why is that important? Because we're going to get into the king of Piscos, which is the Mostaverde. We are proud to have a Mostaverde in our portfolio. And what a Mostaverde is a Pisco that is distilled from partially fermented grape juice. So we leave a little bit of residual sugar in there, and it doesn't make the Pisco sweeter, what it does is it gives it more complexities. It changes the viscosity of it. You get this incredible, long, luxurious finish. And while these piscos are still phenomenal piscos, they are made with 6 to 8 pounds of grapes. This Mostaverde is made with 18 pounds of grapes. So there's 18 pounds of grapes in every one of these bottles you see. Again, the name Caravedo comes from the family Caravedo. We wanted to honor the legacy of the family that built the original stills and that had the original land. So what do we do with this pisco? Now I'm going to use this Mostaverde because why wouldn't you use an incredible pisco and the best whenever you're making drinks at home? So I'm going to teach you guys right now how to make a pisco sour. There are a variety of ways to do it. If you go to Peru, you see that they will use a blender and it still comes out fantastic. Their limes down there are different. They use a gum syrup, but I personally like to use from working in cocktail bars and running an actual cocktail bar that was a pisco bar. I like to use a method in the shaker called the dry shake. So what we're gonna do, the first thing you do whenever you're making yourself a delicious pisco cocktail, is you pour the doctor a drink. If you want to drink pisco neat, and I highly recommend to drink pisco neat, especially Mostaverde, these are pisco glasses, but a grappa glass will do, a good whiskey glass will do, anything that has a little bit of a wider bowl and that kind of curves and comes out a little bit. So we're just gonna make sure that this is the Mostaverde that we are talking about. Marvelous. So now we're ready to make a pisco sour. I prefer to use some form of a coupe glass. Don't let the glass get in the way. If you don't have these glasses at home, they're great to have. They're multifunctional. But you can use, I've gone to tons of restaurants that just use old-fashioned style glasses. This is my preferred method of glass to use. So we're gonna get our bar kits out. This is a good old jigger. It's a Japanese style jigger. They have little lines on the inside that can tell you when it's 1.5 ounces. This top is 2 ounces. This is 1 ounce. That's half an ounce, 3/4 of an ounce, and my tins. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna pour our simple syrup, 1 ounce of simple syrup. Now, how do you make simple syrup? Don't overthink it, it's really easy. Get a container, fill it halfway with sugar, boil water, fill it up with water, mix it, you have yourself some simple syrup. You can get real technical with it. You can put a tea bag in the boiling water, a chamomile tea bag and make a chamomile syrup. But it is simple to make. You can make it on the fly. I used to do it all the time. 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. And the egg white. You can just use 1 egg. Now, for those that are watching that are concerned, you're not going to get salmonella from the eggs. I've made thousands of pisco sours. It just doesn't, it never happens. The eggs that are coming out don't contain salmonella, maybe on the outside. I would recommend you wash the outside of the egg. However, if you are not comfortable with using an egg white, chickpea juice. I think it works just the same as the egg white does. And in my house, I have 2 small children. Eggs are sacred, and we like to make our own hummus. So we just decide, you know what, let's just save the chickpea juice and make sure we have enough eggs to feed those hungry little kids. And it comes out marvelous. We're gonna take our pisco, put the jigger over, 2 ounces. Here you go. And we're gonna do a dry shake. A dry shake is shaken without ice. Emulsify that egg. Make sure you get a good rigorous shake in there. Creates all that foam. Then you're going to take your ice, fill the small tin up. Pour it back in. You want to get a real good shake on there. You want to break that ice down. You want to first you emulsify it. Then you diluted the emulsified ingredients. Me personally, I then like to double strain all my cocktails. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. But if you have any strainer will work, it gives it this beautiful platform on the top. Give it a little shake. You're gonna let it settle for maybe 5-10 seconds. And then what I like to do is to top it off with a dropper. Now, you don't need a dropper, but it will call for some aromatic bitters. Angostura is probably the most accessible to you. It is fantastic. Chucho bitters is what they use in Peru. It is aromatic bitters made in Peru. I like to use my little droplets. And what this does is it doesn't alter the flavor. What it does is it gives you a nice little nose on top. I don't know if you can see those bitters on top. You can see that nice little line right there. That's your froth. Sample your drinks always. That is fantastic. And now, because my wife has been excited all day long that I was making this pisco sour, I'm going to save this for her and show you the last drink, how to make a chilcano. Now, the chilcano is a Peruvian drink that was created in the 1880s. It was created 60 years before the Moscow Mule. And I know you're probably thinking, it kind of looks like a Moscow Mule. You can use ginger beer, you can use ginger ale. I will tell you this. There was a drink called the Buongiorno. It was brought over by the Italians with their grappa. They ran out of grappa. They decided to use pisco with this fermented lime and ginger mix that they used, and they created this amazing drink called the chilcano. So what we're gonna do, do a 1/2 ounce of lime. Two ounces of pisco. We don't want to dilute it too much because we're actually putting in some ginger ale on the top. So we'll put maybe 1 or 2 ice cubes. Shake till it breaks down. Pour out. Top this off with ice. I like to fill it all the way up with ice because when you pour the ginger ale out, it's going to dilute it and it's going to break down a little bit. And again, top with some bitters. Now the bitters will alter the flavor a little bit, and I will tell you this, the bitters are optional. Me personally, I like to mix the bitters in. You can leave it on top for some presentation. I like to give it a good little mix here. Gives it some real nice color. And then garnish with a lime wheel. And here you have the Chilcano. It is one of the most refreshing drinks you can make. It is one of my favorite drinks. And although the Pisco Sour is for my wife, the Chilcano is for me. Man, that's good. Especially on a real warm summer day.
Jared, I'm jealous. I'm sorry.
I got some for you here if you want to come over.
Buddy? You know, I'm waiting for the internet technology to get to the level of sophistication where you can transport a cocktail through the wires and into someone else's home. But until that day, I guess we'll just have to wait. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? Please, Jared.
No. I think we're getting right about that time where we can take some questions.
Okay.
It was wonderful to be able to make drinks for everybody. I do want to just mention real quick that if you cannot find Pisco at your local liquor store, and you should be able to find it, we're in just about every state with the exception of maybe 3 or 4. You can go to caravanopisco.com and go to the buy now section, and you can order a discovery pack, which is all 4, or you can order each individual bottle. You can learn about cocktails in the elixir section. You can learn a little bit more about Pisco. And we actually did a promo code for free shipping, which would be Rethink Peru. One word, rethink, and then Peru is a separate word.
Oh, nice. Free shipping, folks. Rethink Peru. That's your code, right?
That's it.
So Jared, just for a refresher here for the folks who are watching who may have clients that are going to Peru and looking for a little something special, maybe a special way to spend a day or even a way to spend a night or two in that amazingly beautiful hacienda. How do they go about making those arrangements or learning more for that?
Well, they can go to caravanopisco.com and go to the Visit Us section, and then you go to the bottom. I think they're actually in all the sections. It's at tours@lacaravano.com. There's a number there. Or anybody can feel free to reach out to me. I don't know if my email address is there, if you can maybe put that in the comments section. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to get you set up down there. We want to get you there. We want you to visit our facilities. So don't feel afraid to blow up my email.
All right. Well, I will want to do that. Let me see here. So of course thank you, Christina. There, she put that URL in the chat. So for if you're interested in going to visit the hacienda, or you have a client that you think would like to visit the hacienda, there it is. The link's right there in the chat. I think I'm ready to be there pretty soon. I have a question here from Andrea Molina, who asked the question, in making the Pisco Sour, can it be made with 4 ounces of Pisco instead of 2?
Well,
I
made this one with 2. In the recipe, I think it's I may have put in 3. I actually like to make it with 3. I was just not trying to get everybody too drunk. But if you go to Peru, they make a drink called the Catedral, the cathedral, and it is 4 ounces of pisco, 1 ounce of lime juice, and 1 ounce of the goma syrup or simple syrup. And I will tell you, they will knock you down, but they are phenomenal. They're in like hurricane glasses, like you get those pina coladas, and they are
Wow.
just fantastic. But they're not only can you make them, they do make them, and there is a name for them called the Catedral.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that name? I want to put it in the chat.
Catedral. Cathedral
like-
in Spanish, yeah. Catedral.
Cathedral.
Yeah, excuse
Order
me.
those.
I'm still very much a New Yorker that is still trying to learn how to roll his R's. It's been all these years.
Cathedral. Yeah,
Cathedral.
it's tough for us gringos. All right.
Yes.
So, Jared, at this point, we have some guesses in the chat as to when Hacienda La Caravera was founded. We've got a couple of pretty good guesses, but you want to go ahead and give them the answer?
Sure. So Hacienda La Caravera was founded in 1684.
1684, which means I think we have something pretty close to a tie. Andrea Molina, the person who wants to have extra pisco in his sour, guess 1690. And Peggy Cregor, and Peggy, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong, said 1680-ish. So
Oof.
it's kind of like right between the two. 1684, I think, you know, they both win the grand prize, which is a recognition on this very presentation. So congratulations, you got it.
Well, you know what? Why don't we take it a step further? My email is jsasso, JSASSO at carabinopisco.com. And let's send you guys some pisco. So just email me, you two. Just email me and we'll discuss, and I'll get your address, and I'll be more than happy to make sure you guys get a bottle of pisco in your hands. And Andrea, you can make your catedral at home, and I'll make one with you, buddy.
Okay, Andrea Molina, Peggy Cregor, be sure to email Jared,
Yes.
and he's going to hook you up. Man, that's good. That is just rethinking everything right there, Jared. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up here because it's been a long day for everybody. I hope everyone enjoyed this presentation. I hope you all got the opportunity to whip up a pisco cocktail while you're at it, or if not, this will have whetted your appetite for doing so in the future. Once again, a great thanks to Jared Sasso, the Director of Education at Hacienda La Caravera. And we thank you, Jared, and everyone else for tuning in, and have a great evening.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me. It was a blast. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Please let me know. Let's get you down there. Let's get you to Hacienda La Caravera so you can experience it. It'd be my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.